But we've got Finland, aka Suomi, versus Russia here. This is do or die. And we started all off on 4v4 Arabia. Now, both these teams are in a really interesting position where they have... Wait a second. Hold on. There's no Veleza here? I was just going to say that Finland have, like, the clear top two. But one of those players isn't here. We do have Rubenstock in, though, which I'm excited to see. Well, maybe I'll hold the thought I was going to give before. We got Rubenstock playing as the flank here for Finland. Hopefully we see Veleza today. I think he's going to be important for their chances. He's playing as the Bengalis. Pocket this way is Mulisako. Mulisako is the least experienced player on the team, but he's really good on closed maps. So I'd expect him to perform well here. He's playing as the Teutons. In the green, we've got Amalius. Amalius is playing as the Slavs. Amalius, really solid player. I think he is on standard land maps, maybe even their third best player, but maybe I overrate him. I think Rubenstock, certainly in terms of reputation, what he's accomplished throughout his career, probably seen as number 3 in Finland. And then we actually have Max in the flank. So Max isn't in his classic teal pocket position. Max is in the blue here, playing as the Malay. Malay up against Winchester's Celts. This will be interesting. So Max and Vinch up against each other. Pocket then is antagonist. He's like 2k5. Has been playing a lot with Dark, a lot with Winchester. This guy's really good. Has risen kind of out of nowhere over the last 2 years. We have Rapard. Rapard's been around a long time. Really aggressive player. Very good tourney player, I might add. I think he's better in the big moments than a lot of other players are. A lot of other players just more ranked players, let's say. We've got Dark, who's cleared number 2 in Russia. Been around forever, but still so young. I think he's not even 20 yet. He's like 18 or 19. And that's the breakdown. Now, Dark is Poles. So it wouldn't shock me to see a tower rush. Picking Poles on the flank feels pretty natural for a tower rush. And yeah, Dark is just now sending Vils to wood, so this is definitely a fast feudal. We'll see what Rubenstock plans on. His stone is very far forward, so defending from a tower rush could be more awkward because of that. And then I wouldn't expect a lot beyond just booming here for Rapard. Mongols in late game are one of the best civs out there, so he'll probably want to get there. I'd expect the same for antagonist as well. Big scout party in the middle, though. All 8 scouts for the players here looking to meet up with their teams. Celts, though, for Winchester. Celts are a really awkward position for a really awkward civ to be in this position on flank. Like, you don't get great archers, you don't get great monks. Going siege push wouldn't be out of the question with the Celts, but that's not really common. And then, like, the Malay, they can always beat you to the timings. They're the more standard flank pick here. So you have the best player for Russia in probably the most awkward spot. But it is Winchester. He likes to do some wacky things. So we'll see. What's up, comrade? Welcome. Yeah, I find that the walls are pretty close by here. You could just, like... You could tower rush your opponent from almost within your own walls here. Or castle drop your opponent from almost within your own walls. Might be worth considering. Could just, like, delete a piece of wall, drop a castle here, and it's right on Dark's walls if you're Rubenstock. Feudalage is on the way for the Max. So Max is going fast feudal. We've seen this pretty much every time from the Malay. We've got Rubenstock on the way up as well. And... Sorry, just fixing my screen at the bottom. We still don't see... No, we do see a click up here for Dark. So yeah, Dark is going tower rush. There go the Vils. I think Rubenstock is expecting tower rush and is trying to go archers. If all of Finland bring their scouts over here, they could potentially stop this. Like, I called that it would be a tower rush the second I saw Poles on the flank. I think Finland just expect it. They wouldn't be doing this otherwise. The scouts are over here from Malleus and the Max. And Winchester is also going up pretty quick. He's going up with what could be considered tower rush timing. But he's just going to use the market and go fast castle here, I think. This is a really crazy fast castle time. And then there's the barracks from Max. There's the theme. Like, everyone seems to be going archers. I bet you in training games, there were a lot of scheming on how to stop the forward castles. And now Max is getting loom and sending vills forward, so Dark was not expecting Rubenstock to be up faster than him. And Rubenstock is going to drop a tower here. This is really nice from Finland. He's going to drop a tower, get the tower there to protect the stone, and start to make archers. So now it's going to be a bit of a tower war. But Rubenstock could just toss his archers inside the tower to shoot this back down. That's not too bad. I think Max is paranoid that this is a fast castle from Vinch, and he wants to apply pressure. So now he's going to tower rush and follow this up with some archers. And he's going to aim to break through. Like, in theory, if Winchester just walls up and the scouts that break through aren't a problem, we could see Winchester just push this back with siege, right? I think full walls behind are important, though, if you're going to do that. Vinch, no stone for a second TC yet either. And he's really, like, at the limit with resources here. Yeah, so both players... This is actually called the Vinch Rush by a lot of people, because Winchester started this many years ago. It was Winchester and Stark. I think Stark might maintain it was him that started it, and then maybe Winchester perfected it. But it's an old meta, I think dating back to, like, 2018? There was an arena tournament where this is all that happens. Winchester. Oh, that's why he got stone. So he actually just runs forward and bops down a stone wall. And that just gives him a little bit more time. I was wondering why he was going for stone, because it didn't feel like he would get the 100 stone in time for a second TC. So that gives him a little bit more time. And when you're in Castle Age, your stone walls also have more HP. Oh, yeah. Wow, so I wonder if Russia just expected tower rush from Finland, so they picked Celts as defense for that. I can't click the wall piece. There it is. So actually it only has 300 HP. But as long as Vinch can complete the siege workshop, he might be okay. He also has a scout here from Antagonist. Antagonist is making more scouts, actually. Finland doesn't necessarily know that. And there, Dark loses a villager. So not a lot of success for Dark. I think Rubenstock's had the perfect game so far for Finland. But not a lot of success for Max. And I would say this eco setup is not what he would want. And he doesn't know that there's scouts from Antagonist and Lightcav, guys. They don't have any clue. As far as Finland knows, Antagonist is just booming. The scouts have been hidden back here. Don't show him, don't show him, don't show him, don't show him. Oh, the pathing. I guess they don't see the vills. Now he does. Now he does. Max, you better start walling up, buddy. This is going to be Lightcav on archers that may have fletching, but there's only 3 of them. Oh, Max is going to be in a horrible spot. He's going to lose everything here. Amazing for Russia. They expected it. They picked the Celts to defend from it, and they've got the scout support here as well. Amalius is trying to add his own scouts, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't even think you need to micro this too much if you're Antagonist. You're going to kill everything in the end. So Rubenstock probably telling Max, hey, I'm winning on this side, to make Max feel a bit better about the situation. But that is some pretty brutal losses here for the Max. He's going to lose almost everything. Also, the siege now is coming. Like, Winchester's going to turn this into an all-in against Max. So Max is going to need more support. And Malleus has the scouts. But since they see that, Winchester knows that he could maybe go for some pikemen there. And Rapardus going castle? From pockets? Wow, that's crazy. I mean, obviously you're expecting the castle at some point. But going castle now before the second TC is very unique. And Mully Sako is also going to add some knights here for Finland. Just to make sure that Dark can't continue to play this game. So he builds a second tower, and he's just sending more archers into the tower. So it's just this weird tower rush archer situation. But knights could change that, right? And so now it's Finland's turn to surprise the flank of Russia. Here come the siege. Here comes the spears. I think Amalius might need a little bit more army to save Max. Maybe Max could drop a defensive castle, but he's shifted off of stone. He's going to just panic up some walls here. And then Dark actually noticed the knights. And look at these walls. That's crazy. Adds a couple spearmen. He is poles, right? So he's got the farms going up around the fullworks too. Max is desperate to click up here. He sold his soul to click up. But he will get there in no time because he's melee. I don't think he's going to have much protection here, though. Like, there's army support from Antagonist here for Vinchester. Malleus only has 4 Lycav. Mangudai are now here from Rapard. This is something Finland wasn't expecting. They're expecting the Mongol player to be full boom. There's been a lot more army in this arena game than most games give us. Max now more panic walls behind as he tries to stay alive here, but good start for Vinchester and Antagonist on this side. Eco's very close here because both teams have sacrificed their army counts. Or sacrificed their eco for the army counts, rather. I guess the biggest boom seems to be still Antagonist and then maybe Melisako. Malleus is trying to pick off reinforcements. And Vinchester still hoping to break through. He just opened up a piece in the wall. And he's on his way in here. Max is in a panic. And I don't know if this knight is enough for Amalius to stop this. The rest of the army is being tracked here by Yellow. Mangudai still around here for Rapard. Tower's still here for Dark. What crazy builds here. But Rubenstock's at Castle Age. It's just, will Rubenstock getting Bodcanero make a difference here? If he only has 1 tower. This is a really awkward area to micro in if you're Vinchester. Because 1 Mangonel could pop out and kill everything. But now the Cav come in from Yellow. Antagonist is maybe waiting for any of the siege from Max too. Max's TC is being eaten. Here comes the Cav from Amalius. But the Scorpions hit it. Yellow sees it. Oh, man. And Vinchester notices the shot. But he doesn't get the kill. And the Mangonel stays alive for Max. So Max is barely alive right now. Rubenstock's tower. Bodcanero making a difference. It's pushing it back. He's got crossbows chasing down. Maybe he could start to get a snowball going. Max's Mangonel still being repaired. And again, pretty good hold from Max. Razor thin margins here, right? But Yellow's lost a lot of Cav trying to kill Siege that he hasn't ended up killing. And maybe now Amalius can come clear up all of Vinchester's force. Oh, the crossbows got picked up by the Mangudai. And the Mangudai from Rapard split around the knights, kill the monk, and they'll kill the knights as well. Mangudai are really strong. The knights don't have upgrades. Not to mention that the knights are slow. And we just missed it. But green comes in to clear up Vinchester's siege. Wow. I will say, though, I think it's worth it for Vinch. Because Vinch is going to 3 TCs. So he'll actually have a big Vil lead over the Max. Max is also one of Finland's best players. He's essentially out of the game. And Teutons, I think the worst civ for them to play against in a 1v1 is probably Mongols. And that could be what this becomes now. Is Melisako has to deal with Rapard. And look at Rapard fly here. 4 TCs, Mangudai out. It's a great situation for Rubenstock, though. So maybe Rubenstock could get enough crossbowmen to force the issue there. And TC's flying up for Antagonist as well. So Russia definitely with the lead, I'd say. But it's ever so slight. I think there's not going to be an easy answer to the Mangudai. And that's my main concern right now for the Finns. And obviously that's huge for Russia. The fact that Rapard added the Mangudai rather early, I'm actually starting to like that now. That's a lot of knights from Amalius. Oh, man. So I guess Finland want to push back. Try and break into Vinchester's base. That's a lot of knights. It's 9 knights. But most of that was probably made as a reaction to the push Winchester had. And Vinch is probably just going to go defensive castle here. And I think we're going to see fast imp here from Rubenstock. If he can get Bracer, Chemistry, Arbalest, couple Trebuchets on the front, Dark could potentially have some issues. And Dark has just been told, just boom. Like, Dark's not going to do anything at this point except boom. I think the unit he will make eventually is probably Arbalest. There's the castle from Vinch. Almost seems like Vinch is expecting a forward castle from Max and fast imp. The way he's prepping this. He's definitely planning for the imp timing one way or another. Crossbows from Rubenstock on this side. And Mulisako's on the way to imp. I just realized that. T90, why not show army value? It's hard with 4v4 to show everything on screen, right? And I don't think it's of value to add another stat onto the screen when there's already so much stuff here. I think army value is more of a 1v1 stat. Just for the spacing purposes, you know? So Mulisako's going to be an imp, but with what army? He's losing his knights. He's late on upgrades. He was going to drop a castle here, but that doesn't do too much. Yeah, I also wouldn't want relics on screen for team games. I get why you guys want more data, but like for me, I think clutter is a real thing with Capture H. But we'll have it for the 1v1s. If it's super relevant with relics like Lithuanians, for example, we'll always keep a close eye on that. But man, I'm really loving the position for Russia more and more. Winchester on the way to imp. He's going to have siege. He's going to have infantry. The best player for Finland, like the best position for Finland is a guy whose castle just got denied. He can't complete that castle yet. Just such an awkward spot. Maybe Rubenstock's going to end up being the most important player for Finland right now. Look at all these techs flying in. Every single player for Russia is on the way to the Imperial Age. And the military count is going to fly for these guys. Because they've kind of cut army production with Winchester and with Antagonist. And certainly Dark. That's only going to get better. I think the best move for Dark would probably just go Arbalest. Because your opponent is going for the same, and you can kind of match that. But at the same time, you probably don't want double archers on one side. And Poles have really strong cavs, so spamming the cav feels the most natural. Rapard's going to back away. It feels so painful to be playing Teutons right now. They're so slow compared to these Mangadai. And there's Winchester and Imp. Max had some monks here. Did research redemption so he could convert some siege. But there's a lot of pikes coming out from Winchester right now. We've got ballista elephants for Antagonist. How are they supposed to stop that? And now Winchester hops out. Maybe a little early. He could have the Halb upgrade, remember. I don't actually like this fight for Winchester. I feel like it could be so much better. This is not bad for Finland, all things considered. Could have been worse. A lot of Scorpions were converted. They still hold this position. Here's the Cavalier from Mulisako with what will soon be Arbalest for Rubenstock. Let's not forget that big galleys get that. Just because their elephant archers are insane doesn't mean you don't have that window. But the Mangadai snagged Bracer before the crossbows could. And what is the plan here for Dark? What's his army? Looks like he's going Olbuk. Is he committing to Olbuk? Still not certain that he really is certain on how to play it. Like, Poles make sense with the tower rush. But now there might be a few more questions on what to make. Now Vinch has Halb. So now the fights are going to make a lot more sense. And now there's ballista elephants to back it up. And ballista elephants are insane. They were recently buffed, of course, because their bolts are affected by ballistics now. And so that alongside with Scorpions, I mean, maybe we need to see Scorpions for Amalius as an answer. Certainly needs Onager, I think. But this is just like, Max has been way behind all game. He's about to be pressured heavily. And then it's Ballista Elephants backing it up. It's just so hard to know what to do. The only positive for Finland is they can take Dark out of the game. They take Dark out of the game, they've got a really solid chance here. Even hoardings now for Dark. That's a tech I think pros should be getting more. It takes a long time to research, but it really helps you in castle defense scenarios. And how frequently are we seeing bombard cannon versus Treb, repairing Trebs, repairing castles, right? It feels like every single game. They're trying what they can on this side, but it's not looking good. So Rubenstock and Melisako need to push here. These Mangudai are elite. They're fully upgraded, but it's mainly Mangudai. Dark is going to repair his castle and go bombard cannon to snipe army on the other side of these walls. And the walls are fortified walls as well. So full defense from Dark. Don't think the Olbuk are going to be enough. Here are the bombard cannons, though. And the bombard cannons, they've been spotted by Rubenstock. Rubenstock needs to protect his Trebs in some way. Mangudai also shreds siege, too. So if there's an opportunity here, they'll make a move, but they won't save the castle from Dark. Meanwhile, Max is just dead. Like, Max is just gonna die. It's only gonna get worse. So they need to push on this side. And I guess if you're Dark, you just need to add even more walls. If the walls are there, your bombard cannons could still work. Mangudai hit and running from Rapard. Some decent bombard cannon hits from Dark. Yeah, full stone walling this against the Trebs is actually doable. Just to hold the line. And then what could happen is Yellow could bring Ballista Elephants soon. If Yellow isn't needed over here soon, I think Ballistas could be the play. I'd like to see Siege Ram from Winchester just to mop up all these buildings. Really impressive patience from Dark and Rapard on this side. Because they are just truly outmassed. It's over 100 army for Finland over here against like 60. Finland are going to reposition though. They say, okay, stay in your walls if that's what you want. And if they could push Rapard, take Rapard out, it'd be dangerous. Max has mainly monks right now, which against elephants is actually a really good option. The onagers as well from Amalius. Pretty good thing to mix in against all of this. My worry is that Winchester could just win that side on his own right now. Oh god, and the elite Olbuk are in. So they shred armor, right? And we're talking Teuton Paladin, which are normally pretty heavily armored. And so surprise, that's a lot of Olbuk. They just came out of nowhere. The clanging of the Olbuk taking down the Paladins. And the Paladins are out of the picture. And it's mainly Mangudai left over then. Oh, man. I mean, Finland's pop. It says they're in a good spot, but I think Amalius has a bit of an overboom here as he tries to get Siege Onager. I think they're losing too much ground, and they haven't been able to push too far over here. They did take out Rapard's castle. They did take out Dark's castle, but they've still got such a good setup here, Russia. Is there enough army on the field for Finland? There's 60 army behind. The Olbuk looked really good. The other thing that blows my mind is Olbuk have 6 Pierce armor. So, like, Samurai have 5, for example. So this unit shreds armor, is super cheap, produces really fast, and also has 6 Pierce armor. So it's actually... It's not something you see all the time with the Poles. Normally you're seeing their cav, but it's actually really strong. And they wanted melee combined with ranged, so they have that now. Do you guys remember it was a game with Doubt? I think at NAC, where he went for tons of Olbuk. I forget what Civ matchup it was. It could be really strong. It'll still go down to Arbs, of course, but it offers that bit of meat shield for the Mangudai and for the bombard cannons here. And oh god! Olbuk slide into the front. Initially, it looked like a good engagement from Melisako, but the Arbs just can't get in close enough to these bombard cannons. Oh boy, we got elephants though. Okay. Thing is, it has to happen fast. It has to happen now, right? They have to break this line now because Max is dying. Amalius is dying. Everything's going down to these ballistas. So, is it too little too late? These elephant archers. I'd actually like to see Onager from the Mongol player if he can afford it. I think he's really light on gold, so he can't afford it. But speedy Onagers could be helpful to dive in, take out the elephants and the arbs. We're going to see Cav as well from Dark. We see Druzina now for Amalius, but like Halb's... I guess Halb SO is actually quite good against all this, in theory. But what happens if Winchester just adds Woad Raiders then? And he has Woad Raiders out. I'm actually really impressed how well Dark has been able to play on this side with such awkward army to play with, right? The fact that he's been able to keep himself safe has been such a big factor here. The Hoardings, Bombard Cannon, Fortified Wall, double layer is something a lot of players wouldn't do. Amalius is dying. Max is stuck in his little corner. He can't help. And Dark and Rapard just have to continue to try and hold here. Can Finland turn it around? Now the Paladins from Mulisako have to come help. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. There's no Paladin support over here then. We've got Leketic Legacy coming in now. So the Hussars will start to spam. Maybe that's the more realistic option now for Dark anyways. They'll have that trample damage. They're a lot faster than the Olbuk. He seems to be happily throwing away the Olbuk here. And they're starting to push back on this side now. The Paladins engage against the Halbs and some of the Ballistas. That's a lot of Paladins. That's everything Teal has right now. He's sending it all. But it still doesn't really save Max. It still doesn't undo the damage that was already dealt. And Dark and Rapard are officially back on this side. The castle's down. I don't know if these elephant archers are good enough. They're so expensive too, right? Like, you're not going to replenish it. They don't have trade. And the Mangudai seem to... They're able to choose when to take the fights, and they still seem good enough. I know elephants are high pierce armor, but the Mangudai fire so quickly. Siege Onager and Paladins for Mulisako and Amalius. Siege Onager's hoping to land those juicy shots against the elephants. Max is still holding on. I mean, he's at a crazier population than I would have expected. They never really dedicated a push to kill him off. They just pushed immediately to green. Nice micro from the antagonist, who's a player that some of you guys might not have heard of before this tournament. 2,500 elo. Really solid 1v1s. Plays a lot with Winchester. So this castle will fall. And I mean, I credit Finland for holding on as long as they have. But if you've been feeling like it's been inevitable for a while, I've kind of been feeling the same. And even if Max starts to push back now, they're going to lose the right side. And if Rubenstock's out, they won't be able to trade. Russia's already starting their trade, so they could freely trade and get gold. And that's normally the game-deciding move at this stage. You just have to have trade. Otherwise, you can't make gold units. And almost every unit that's been out here has been a gold unit. But a really competitive game. A really fun game. I think, like, the masterclass from Winchester and Antagonist on the left side is ultimately what ended up deciding this. I also, Dark's defense was crazy good. Like, Dark could have so easily died here. He didn't get to Hussar until after they defended for a really long time. And I think Olbuk shouldn't have 6 pierce armor. That's just an opinion of mine. It doesn't really mean that the Olbuk did a lot here. It took one good fight against the Paladin, and that was kind of it. And the elite elephant archers back away. But you're going the wrong way here, elephants. You need to move forward somehow. Yeah, and now Max is going to die. Thank you again, Tragic Constipation, for subscribing to the stream. Or, excuse me, gifting subs. I'll offer the same thing I did the last 2 days. I'll refund that as a gift to you if you change your name. GG. Russia takes the first game. That was such a fun game, man. I think a couple things. So, first, to repeat what I said before, Vinchester had a crazy game. When you're thinking flank civilizations on Arena, Malay are so much better, at least in my opinion, and so much more useful in normal situations than Celts. But Vinchester almost expected the Trush. He pushed back the Trush, and then the support from antagonists was perfect to kill off Max and kind of take Max out of the game. Now, I think lesser players, they go all in with the siege to kill Max. They have horrible economy. They don't end up killing Max, and then Max rebooms. But guess what? Vinchester, he had good economy behind it. It wasn't like he needed to kill the guy there. So, yeah, just like perfect play. I do think that part of this, and I mean just slightly part of this, may have been draft decided because Mongols on the same side as Teutons makes it extremely difficult for the Teutons. So maybe when we look at the draft board here in a second, the Civ priority was a bit higher for Russia here in this 4v4. But the Elephants and the Mangudai dominated, and I guess Rubenstock did have a positive KD, but everyone else struggled. But it wasn't just that, right? It was also the economies. Max was way down. Even Rubenstock didn't have as good economy as Dark in the end. Oh, God, what are they both doing with the colors? Can we ban them both? What are they doing? So, Mulisako is picking orange, I think because he knows Vinchester likes to play it purple. It is a green terrain, though, so it's kind of easy to see that. I'm going to have to change these colors. We're going to put Mulisako in the red. And we're going to put Vinchester in the blue. And they're right next to each other. So, the big surprise for me, again, is for Finland, we don't have Max or Veleza playing the 1v1. But if Mulisako can win this, then it's 1-1. Max and Veleza hopefully available for game number 4. I say hopefully because we haven't seen Veleza yet today. Lithuanians now for Finland. And then we got Malians for Russia. Dock position is kind of rough for Mulisako in all honesty, but it's also pretty rough for Vinch. He's closer to the corner, so he's got more fish around. So dock positions close together. Will they find that? TC positions close together. Will they find that? Scouting with the cows or the water buffaloes is kind of the key. Right now, Mulisako's just got the 1. And Vinchester's actually got 2. And Vinch isn't scouting this way, so he's not going to find that dock. But he's scouting this way, and he's scouting this way. Also sees another water buffalo here. Also sees a rhino here as well. So it's a team decision. Russia clearly feels like you got to take the wins where you can. So you have to go for your best player, which I think makes so much sense. In Finland's case, they may feel as though Mulisako is good enough to snag a win as the underdog. And then they can save for the team games. And let's be real. Finland is a team. They are all about the team games. I think Veleza's best 1v1 days, maybe a little bit behind him. I mean, a tad. I'd still put him in my top 16. But there was a time where people were putting him in the top 5 conversation or the top 10. He's just not playing the game as much anymore. And then Max was also in the top 5 conversation, but that was maybe 5 years ago. So they're here for the team games. So Vinch scouting all of this, but not seeing this is a pretty big deal. Because if he only uses this water buffalo to scout the shoreline, this is going to be the last place he looks. And then I don't think Mully has any scouting on the shoreline at all. I think if you don't have any scouting on the shoreline, but you have a good build, you could still just go fast feudal and go for water control. This version of Nomad, there's no landlock, so it's a guarantee that there's going to be fishing ships out there and that you'll eventually be able to find them. But so far, if you didn't know the player reputations, if you didn't know the player names, you'd say this is pretty much even, right? But yeah, like, as the cows pass each other here, Mully Sako is a player who plays closed maps and like Nomad style very well. He's not a player who plays Arabia on ladder. Now, here's my worry for Finland. If this goes to game 5, who are they playing on Arabia? I'm assuming Velez is going to show up, right? Like, no Velez today, and I think they're really going to struggle. But last time I went to game 5, they had Mully Sako play Arabia, and he struggled a bit there. Maybe they have a Malleus or... Oh, Rubenstock's here. Rubenstock wasn't actually here last time. Oh, yeah. I think you could have Rubenstock play that role, no problem. Ooh. Winchester finds the dock. And actually... He's going to wall this in and attack it. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Wait, the fishing ship is here. I don't think that does anything. Oh! Oh! Oh, quick walls from Mully. He's going to try and save his Vil. Did the fishing ship attack the palisade? Quick wall. Oh! He gets the quick walls down. Saves the villager. Well played. Well played all around there. Nice job from Winchester to notice that and make the move. And then Red saves the villager for now. It's going to be tough to save her, but probably could just make a run for it because you really want your next dock to be close by all of this. Winchester's probably just going to keep an eye on her. Vinch is checking the scouting again. He must have lost something up here, so I think he knows that likely the enemy is to the north. And is he able to go feudal age? The timing is going to be really tight here. He's got... he's going to drop off food with all the fishing ships and the Vils. Doesn't quite have the res to click up. Then Mully's going to get the food. He's also in a really tough spot with the food to go fast feudal. It's super close, but you just hope that you get the food here to click up. And there he goes. So, Winchester, a little faster here. Winchester doesn't have 6 fishing ships, though. But, I mean, Vinch... Wait, where did the Vil go? Did Vinch kill... Wait. I think Vinch killed the Vil. With the Vil, right? That's clear. Because I just missed it because I suck. But Mully Sako, I think, lost a villager to a rhino somewhere. So he must have lost a Vil to a rhino. If I had to guess, he lost a Vil to the rhino while he was quick walling in the other Vil. That's exactly what happened, I bet. Because he was focusing on quick walling in this Vil, he lost the Vil underneath the TC. So that's not so good. So one of the kills is credited to Gaia. One of the kills credited... Oh, you guys can't see the Eco Keiki because of the logo. My bad. There you go. Double dock from Vinch. It's double dock from Mully Sako, but his other dock had to go up over here because he lost that Vil. I'm actually not concerned about being down 2 Vils. My concern for Mully Sako is mainly the fishing ship situation. This could get significantly worse. He's going to add a fire from here and a fire from here. He doesn't know where Winchester's docked, but he knows that it's likely down this direction or over on this side. And he's going... He should flee with these fishing ships. If you just get away and go to the other dock right now, I'm actually not opposed. He's added a barracks. And he's going to drop some walls and then a tower. Winchester just researched Town Watch. Dude, I love how people... experienced Nomad players value that technology so much more. And so Vinch is going to feel like he's going to have these fishing ships trapped. And he pretty much will unless Mully Sako runs away with them. But there is a fire coming from both sides now. And microing galleys is way more difficult than microing fire ships. Winchester. Just passing. That could be a dead Vil for Vinch. That is going to be a dead Vil for Vinch. Villager goes down. Wow. That TC was a sniper. And Winchester still has to focus on this. But look at the micro of this guy, right? He blocks with the fishing ship like an absolute nerd. And that's just... he's just built different, right? People just see certain aspects of the game differently. He's happy to tank with the fishing ship, and it just came to his mind immediately. He made a counter tower here, so he protects his wood line. This outpost shows to him that his opponent is building the range. So it's going to be archers as well. Here comes Malisako, though, sneaking in with that fire. And he's sneaking away with the fish. Guys, I think this could be good. Like, the fishing ships are going to get a lot more value. It's going to take Vinchester a lot of time to kill them. And now Vinch has to come home to defend his fish. And the longer this goes, the more Vinch is going to feel like he needs to make more galleys. And then the less focus away from the archers. So I actually think, especially with all the food underneath the TC, the gold being to the north, some of the walls maybe, I think this could be pretty good for Finland. Obviously, Vinch is the big favorite. But let's not sit here and act like the situation isn't actually pretty good for Malisako after losing those vills. Fish will still get some value. He still has the archers. Vinch's castle age resources are looking really close, though. Holy cow, what? That eco balance is nuts from Vinch. Melly doesn't know this because he's in the dark on everything. But he needs to be pushing with the archers right now. His fish will eventually die. He needs to make a move with the archers. He's bringing in a rhino here. And we'll take the food from the rhino. But the second fletching is in, you've got to make a move out here. All he sees is an outpost. Vinch doesn't have a single ranged unit yet. And Vinch is going to see these units now. Malisako can run through. Vinch still hasn't clicked up. Vinch still defending his fishing ships here. Meanwhile, Malisako's up to 8, by the way. So he actually added fish. His food eco has been way better on water than Vinchester's. And he's always sneaking in a new fire galley. It's really creative. Archers from Malisako. Force Vinch away from the berries. And the resources should rise for him with the rhino, with the deer. He will wall this up as well. And the archers could still find decent enough value if they keep moving along here, right? No armor for Vinchester's skirms. It's good micro. Vinch does get fletching, so he'll probably kill off these archers. But I think Castle Age will end up being relatively close for both players. The main difference then is what's the fish going to look like? And that should be advantage Vinchester because of the galleys moving their way. So I'd say defense from Vinchester, calculated and as cool as ever. He'll click up, same Castle Age time. Resources collected, Malisako's actually ahead. That may change here, though. And the galleys come through. The galleys now have fletching as well. And so they should make pretty quick work of the fires. Vinchester, good micro. So, feels like a castle drop situation with this positioning of the walls. I think, like, Malisako's concerned these walls will break down and then the units could run through, so that's why he's rewalling this. He's also hiding his fish again. Guys, that is such an important aspect of Nomad that very few players do. This is what the experienced Nomad players do. The dock in the north to sneak the fish away. The stalling aspect is so nice. Vinch, I think, wants a castle here on the TC. And then I think Malisako wants a castle here on Vinch's TC. And they're they're both probably going to have the stone for a castle at the same time. Also, sneaky fires going after Vinch's fish again. This is sick. Dude, what a win it would be for Finland. Like, to win with Malisako versus Vinch and then save the other players would be crazy. Galley's just looping all the way around. These fishing ships are still fishing. He's still got Navy around. It's been annoying for Vinchester to keep up with this guy. Vinch is definitely going forward castle, right? Let's see if the war galley upgrade comes in. Vinch just bought stone. Okay. Malisako sees the castle foundation. This is really good for Vinch. because at the very least, it removes your opponent from the wood line, and it also will take out the TC. That's not good for Melisako, obviously. But what do? Do you go YOLO on Winchester now? Yeah, you do. This is a Nomad guy. Yeah, this is what Nomad players do. Because if you just place the defensive one, then you have a castle on your TC, and you're just in you're in a worse spot. So he's going to drop his own castle. Now, hopefully this goes up before any Gabetto come out. But Winchester will be in the same spot. I'm a little concerned about it, but I think it will be calculated enough. And War Galley upgrades in for Melisako, so his ships are upgraded. He's going to swoop in, maybe kill some of Vinch's fish still. His fish are somehow still alive. And the castle goes up for Melisako as he builds a TC back here. On the wood line, on the golds. Feels like Vinch has more space to breathe, though, right? Like, he's less cornered. And for Red, he just has less space on land. I also think that Gabetto is superior to Latus in this scenario. Winchester's galleys are just so hungry for fishing ship kills, man. They've only killed one fishing ship. And they're going to find them now. Oof. That's maybe acceptable for Melisako if you kill Vinch's fish. But Vinch's fish are kind of spread out. Latus about to run through, looping around, looking for damage. Winchester has to be careful here. Whoa! What are those quick walls? Oh, well, he fails with a quick blacksmith. It's actually crazy that he quick walled with a town center there, though. And he does keep his fish alive, so he's still got 4 fish at least. I think he needs monks right now. Like, monks are the key to defend from this. The Gabetto you want to use offensively. And there goes Vinch. Russia in a good position here to go up 2 games. Stay alive in this tournament. Feel like Melisako is stuck unit comp-wise. Latus are great against other forms of cavalry. They're great at raiding, but it's kind of tough on Nomad, right? Because the castle's close to everything. Everything's so jumbled up. You really want ranged units so you can pick away at things. And that's also just Winchester's skill set. And oh, disaster. Oh, man. Vinch is not going to let you relax now. Vinch should have some monks out. There was a villager killed there from Red, but he can't get in close now that monks will be out. And monks are so much less effective against Gabetto because the Gabetto have range. They could actually kill the monks. Would be pretty crazy if we saw the Lithuanian unique tech. If he had the extra range on the TCs, he could actually fully defend from the Gabetto. I don't think that's going to be seen here, though. Vinch might lose a unit to conversion. It's also the strong one. Oh, Vinch deleted them. Did he just delete 2 units? That's kind of worth it then, maybe. I don't know. Next level play from Vinch. He ends up killing the monk. 52 eco for Winchester. And Red is stuck. I think he's going to try and ram down this castle. Even that's a little bit tricky against Gabetto because they do melee damage. And, ooh, the monk gets sniped as well. Yeah, unfortunately for Finland, Winchester just feels like he's in full control. Now I'm going to jinx him naturally. And now he looks foolish. But he just seems really comfortable right now. And when you let the best players cook, they're going to pick you apart, especially if they have ranged units. But losing the 3 Gabetto was very sloppy there. 2 Cav Archers of all things here for Mully. With some of the latest, he will drop TC number 2. Technically 3, but he lost his first one, so that's the same for Vinch. I love how much vision Vinch has. I feel like it's not a coincidence that every time I see a player research Town Watch and build Outpost, that player wins. The best Nomad players are always opting for vision. It's really smart. And then Red is just like running into the dark all the time. And he doesn't have as great an understanding on everything that's happening, right? Vinch is about to drop TC number 3 and get relic number 2. And I still think Gebetto's his unit. It is low HP, but they're super high attack. And he has the resources for it. Vinch deletes the villager. The red gonna build an outpost or 2 of his own. Yeah, so... Still very curious. Is Veleza here today? And if Veleza is around, it was clearly just a team strategy to save Veleza for the team games later on. That way they have Veleza for the 2v2 with the max. But Vinch is... He's in a position now where he could soon drop another castle. The Cav Archers just scouting here. They run in and find their death. And where would Vinch want that next castle? The next castle spot should go here. If he could take that hill, that would be really good. Or maybe he could just go for overall map control. A castle on the left side of the map. Take it to late game's not bad either. Olisako wants a conversion. Ah, super unlucky. Vinch deleted it. Wait, what? So you can tell, right? Like, you could usually tell based on the direction the monk is looking. I don't think Vinch researched heresy here. I think that he is, like, able to look at this and make an educated guess on which unit is being converted. But that's crazy that he guessed the right one there. With knights, it makes sense because knights are much bigger and they spread out more, so you could definitely tell the direction. But when you're in the game, you don't get the little line that Capture Age gives you. That's crazy that he guessed the right one there. He deleted 2 units earlier with similar logic. So it clearly was something he was thinking about. And he does it on the fly because the dude's just a beast. And here we go. Vinchester with Vils. And he's going to drop a castle here. Red, I think you need to panic buy some stone and drop your own castle. And even then, I don't think it goes up. But you need your own castle if you see Vils walking through. Come on, dude. There he goes. He bought the stone. Drop your own castle. It's the only thing you can do. Drop your own castle. Drop it fast. Vinch deletes again. Vinch deleted again. He did it once more. There's the castle for Vinch. Vinch finally loses a unit to conversion, and Red says, I baited you, pal. I have my own castle. But I don't know, man. Like, this is maybe the best way you come back, right? Is if Vinch loses his own castle to your castle, you swoop in and kill the monks. It's actually a pretty decent fight. Hold on. This actually was his way back into the game. He killed the monks. The castle... No! Vinch is 2 under there! Oh, Vinch's castle goes up. And actually, Red needs murder holes badly because the Gebetto are wedged under there too. So both players are going to add petards. I think we're going to see rams from Red to try and ram this down. But Vinchester clicks up to Imp. Uh-oh, petard. Petard issue. Petard issue. Uh-oh, waste of a petard. And Vinch still has a crazy economy. Whoa. Actually just got some quick walls in here as he tries to build a defensive castle. I mean, this castle doesn't go up until he has an answer for these units. So nice job from Red. Look at the eco balance for Red, though. He doesn't have anything on gold. 35 on wood, 5 on food, and 0 on gold. With 3 on stone. I think he's going to maybe get some TCs up on gold soon. Arbe says, in a recent game, I couldn't get petards out on the correct side and lost my castle. It's stupid. Okay, Arbase, it definitely wasn't a skill issue. It must have been the game's fault. So you're telling me you set the rally point onto the castle and it looped around instead of jumping out of the front in this scenario? I'll pay attention to it. It seems like Vinch is waiting till he gets more petards before moving out. But yeah, you can't actually ram rush down a Malian castle because even 2 Gebettos and a few repairs push away the rams. Gebettos are so good, dude. And then Vinch will have Trebs. Oh, okay. We just saw the petards hop out from red, I think. Rams now. It's the same issue, though, for red, is it not? Because the Gebettos can hit him? Ooh, tough for Vinch, actually. Ooh, really tough. He also has to only hop out with the Gebetto and not everything else. Oh. Back inside. There go the petards. Yeah, see, some of the petards are hopping out the backside. I see what you mean. And Vinch needs to keep these castles up. He's in imp, and yeah, the GG's called. The GG's called. Doesn't need the petards. Red knows he'll have trebs. Vinchester wins. And so, you know, I think now you have to question it a little bit. If you have Max, you have Rubenstock even, you have Veleza available to play the 1v1s. Why not play them? Now, Rubenstock doesn't play 1v1s anymore. Veleza we haven't seen yet today, so maybe he's not here. Max you usually want to save for team games. And Melisako is that next generation Finnish player, right? I think there's a lot of belief, and this is good opportunity for him to get experience as well. So there's probably all those things combined here. Now, we have seen one reverse sweep in these best of fives. So one team that went up 2-0 ends up losing 3-2. Does anyone remember the team that got reverse swept before? Anyone remember? There's only 8 teams in the main event. What team was it that went up 2-0 and then lost 3-2? It was Russia. So, you know, everyone's saying it's going to be a sweep. So please keep in mind that Russia were in this position before and it looked very good for them. And then the others were able to turn it around in the team games. So, okay. So, it doesn't seem like Veleza is here yet. Maybe Veleza is currently speeding home. I don't know. Maybe he was on a hike and he got lost somewhere in Finland and he is making his way back to his house right now to show up for game number 4 and game number 5. Obviously, the scoreline's not looking too good for Finland right now. The scoreline's looking very good for Russia, but remember, sad memories for Russia with this scoreline because they were up 2-0 over Brazil, and Brazil came back and beat them 3-2. So, bit of extra pressure there for Russia to get the job done. Now, we've got Vinchester playing pocket position, playing as the Burgundians. His flank is the Italians, so that answers my question for Dark. And then the red, we've got the Koreans for Rapard. So, wow, they're really saving civilizations here. They had Burgundians pretty high, but Mayans, Ethiopians. I think they had another Archer Civ in their top 5 picks. Russia's like, nope, we're going to save those for the potential Arabia game in game 5, maybe Coastal Forest game 4. We've got Vietnamese for Rubenstock and the teal for Finland. And we've got the pocket then, the Max playing as the Hindustanis. And we've seen Amalia's here as the Chinese on the flank. I think the Archer civilizations are slightly superior. I mean, they have to be with Chinese involved. The Chinese eco, at least, is so dominant if they don't take any early pressure, and they won't here. The pocket positions could be pretty close. Burgundians are fascinating because like they're a civilization that wants to go knights, which could be vulnerable against the Hindustani camels. But this is like crazy busted eco. And you got Vinchester in a safe position, already getting an eco upgrade. No one else can get until feudal age. And he's going to be able to cook here. So I think we've seen situations where, and we saw it earlier today, where you can beat the Hindustanis from the pocket if you just simply outboom them. That's what ACCM was able to do. So you can't just go camel and win. It's not that simple. So if you lose to Hindustanis, you could, to cope with the loss, you could just pretend that that's the case. Okay? Just remember, if you lose to a civilization, it's because the civilization is overpowered. And if you win, it has everything to do with your skill, right? That's how it works. That's what somebody told me once. It's only a civ win if you lose. Now, last time we saw Hindustanis, the players went scouts, and they went scouts on the side, and then the opponent was just fully walled. Now, you can attack walls with Hindustanis and break through them pretty quickly, but I kind of feel like we might not see the scouts. Well, it's 3 on wood. So maybe I'm just wrong. But we'll see if the scouts could actually do damage. Clearly, both the Finnish Russian flanks right now are just trying to get walls down. A lot of walling for Dark here. Feels like these trees have kind of helped Repart a little bit. Space Fake says T90, whenever I'm losing, the opponent is super tryhard nerd. When I'm winning, I'm just superior in terms of skill and strategy. Yep. Yep. It's funny. Obviously, I'm joking. But I find that a lot of people don't realize that's how they see the game. Sometimes they just... It's easy to find reasons to complain. I find that some high-level players have kind of a different logic. And the logic is, if I win, it's because I did everything I was supposed to do, and my opponent threw. And then if I lose, it's because I suck. Like, there's a lot of 2K plus players, because the game gets broken down to such a science, it feels like, right? You're literally, like, when you win, you're not even as satisfied, because you're just like, well, yeah, I was supposed to in that matchup. Or, yeah, like in that situation. If I have half a brain, I should win. But then you lose, and it's just like, I suck. It's so funny. How, like, a 2K plus player looks at it that way versus a 1200 elo player might just be like, it's a civ win, even though it's not necessarily the civilization that dictates a lot there. Pro players must be miserable. I could be miserable sometimes, yes. So close and yet so far, you know, if you're like 2K2, 2K3. You know who knows about that? Anti-Demon in chat. What's up, dude? Anti-Demon's like 2K3. Anti-Demon was saying he was going to get 2K4. Did you get there? Or did you come up short? I know you and Mentalist were racing. He's a Brazilian guy. He's been around the game a long time. He says no, 11. Oh, crap. We called him out. I didn't mean to call you out. I'm sorry. Shoot. I thought I was supposed to compliment you. Oh, you dropped down to 2200? Oh, it's all good, dude. It's all good. No one here in chat's going to judge that. So, Rubenstock's going to go archers and towers. So, I guess they saw the walls. And they really want to apply some pressure here. Because Russia's, like, they're not just walling, but they're also not planning on making military. And Max is going to go scout. So, he's going to support with Rubenstock. And Hindustani team bonus. The stable units do more damage against the buildings. So, with the max scouts coming as well, this house should most likely go down. And Rapard is going to be under a lot of pressure. He'll have archers on him. He'll have scouts in his base. So this means Winchester's going to need to support in some way. I would say it makes sense for Dark to go full Stonewall. Or maybe just tower. He's on stone. So is he going to open Genoese crossbow? I'm really confused by that. It feels like that's his plan. And Finland are through. And this is a pretty good start for them, man. The aggression is paying off. It's kind of wild how I think a lot of this aggression is opened up by that Hindustani bonus. His buildings go down so fast against scouts. Now, where it's tricky, you obviously want to kill Rapard, but if Rapard gets the walls down, you might feel like you want to shift your focus to Vinch. But Vinch might eventually be on Knights, too. Vinch is going fast castle, so you have to get there quickly. And you also don't want to be, as we have the quick walls from Rapard fail, you also don't want to be caught out here, have your tower rush down, and have Rubenstock lose his reinforcements. But Ruben just walks in and is just going to mine the stone like he owns the place. And then Max is going to see the stable from Vinch. But it took a lot of time to get here. They don't have a lot of army here right now. So I guess, like, well done from Rapard. He hasn't taken any losses in the end. He has actually chopped through, so he might be able to go to the gold. We actually have archers from Emalius, though, so he might actually... Ooh. He might be able to head over here. Because he's just walling here, and he's sending archers through the middle. Dark isn't chopping through it all. his Darkest Fast Castle into a castle drop. Here's the pressure on Vinch. Vinch is producing a couple scouts, though. And I'm just really impressed with Vinchester's damage control. He should end up being okay here. Here, he's also okay because he walled it up. And then Dark as well. Like, Dark isn't not a great spot. No one's loving life in Dark's position. But considering the circumstances, it's not too bad. He's even getting some walls down behind this a little bit. Has some skirms, has some spears. And in the end, the little archer army from Rubenstock gets pushed back, killed off. Vinchester's going to have light cav soon. I haven't seen a single villager go down for Russia. And now, Rapard's going to rush this tower down, and Rubenstock could be trapped in here. Rubenstock needs to get away. They're going to chase this down, guys, because it has to path back through where the opening in the wall. Tower down for Rubenstock. Rapard will happily mine that stone. And the archers for Ruben are going to snipe the spears. And saves the vills. So that ends up being okay for Rubenstock to hold this. Castle going up now for Dark. He'll complete that. He'll start making Genoese crossbow. Fast Castle Genoese crossbow is not something I've seen before on this map. Because your Genoese are still, like, they're great against Cav, but they're really bad against crossbow. Feels like you might need crossbow. Maybe it's a fake. Maybe he booms. Maybe, like, Amalius goes full army now to control the middle, and we don't see Dark make anything. Rubenstock's just going to run home now. In late game, who is the advantage? Let's see. Italians, Burgundians, Koreans, Chinese, Hindustanis, Vietnamese. I think it's close, but I would favor Italians because of Genoese crossbow. Because elite Genoese crossbow is a different story. You also have Koreans with the war wagons and crazy siege. And then Italian trade is cheap. I guess Burgundians are weaker than Hindustanis, though. And Vietnamese are no joke. And Chinese are no joke. I don't actually know if there's clearly one team that's better in Imp. Now that I think about it. I know Vinch is going to be in a crazy spot, though. Vinch is 3 TCs. And what a great job from Rapard. He knew that there would be archers out here. That was communicated. He's defended himself. He's on stone. That can be helpful long-term with the Koreans. He's actually going to move out now. There's no cav from Max here. So both the Finns need to be careful against these skirms. This would be so nice to be able to kill off some archers here. One light cav should be able to kill that. And that's exactly why he backs away. Wow, so 3 TCs for Vinch. What in the world? That's crazy. And Dark has made 1 Genoese, but I don't think he's going to make a lot more. Oh! Oh, Max gets through! Max gets through! Disaster for Rapard! He does damage control it, but he's going to lose all of his skirms. And these are still Hindustani light caps, so they could still break through the house. Oh, man. I mean, he had the right call to run back, because he knew light cav would be on the prowl. I don't know if he's out of the woods yet, because he doesn't have skirms now. So Rubenstock could just sit behind the house, and nothing stops us from breaking through. Dude, you need more army right now, Russia. You need more army. Rapard's the only one who really made an army this game. He was doubled. That's going to continue now. And we're still just waiting for Vinchester to fly out here with some military units. Here he's got 2 light cav. Quick walls from Amalius. Very well played. He should be fine. And tower for Rapard keeps him in the game for now. Can you imagine, like, if I got reverse swept, it would live in my brain if we lost this game, right? Anything goes wrong. You're like, oh no, not again, right? Eco count way ahead for Russia. It is actually very difficult for Amalius's crossbows to find value against Dark. Dark's going to be completely walled here. The castle's on the front. Winchester is just bringing relics back to his base right now, which looks hilarious. Max snipes the monk, says thank you very much. The Genoese are here to defend from the light cav. The crossbows, though, from Amalius are still following. And Cavalier upgrade for Vinch. We see 3 stables. It'll be 3 stable spam here soon, I think. And this is still open, by the way. Rubenstock still has vision on that. Rapard is going to go War Wagons when he makes it to Castle Age. Been an interesting game. Been very different than the other games. Usually, you don't see unique unit from the flank. Usually, it's crossbows from both flank. And are Genoese crossbowmen good enough? Against Chinese? It's continuing with crossbow all the time? I'm not so certain. Also, I want to see a big boom from Max and Vinch. I want to see a 4th and a 5th TC. There's enough gold out here that's still not secured. I think we will see it. That's a TC for Ruben there. Still waiting for that army from Vinch. He just can't seem to keep his vills pumping and make army at the same time. There's the castle for Rapard. So now, once he starts to have wagons, it will be tough for Rubenstock to find good engagements. But that'll take some time. 30 eco lead for Russia, but they're down 30 military. It's a really close game. Rubenstock probably expecting something here. Sees the castle. Should know it's coming. TC denied over here. Winchester was trying to sneak a TC up. He doesn't have a TC on gold right now, guys. That could be part of the issue. Remember, you only have so much gold at your starting base. And those vills actually ran away. But now, Finland's even denying this TC. And it's good. Like, good snipes, good value from the armies. The Genoese not able to fight this. If this was just a crossbow player, the only thing you would need is like 18 crossbows to kill 13 crossbows in all of this. But because he's going Genoese, it gets so much more complicated to fight the crossbows. Now, the idea of the Genoese is to make it complicated for the camels to be involved. And so maybe in the end, it ends up working out because the camels got killed off right away. And now Blue's going to lose most of his army. Dark is dodging and dancing and microing. And nice clear up there. And now Russia are serious. So it's funny because they were way ahead in eco. Now they're not. But they were way behind an army. And I expect that to change too because of all the production from both. Rapard and Vinch. Does the armor help you? Like, obviously, you have to research it for normal fights. Oh, where was the hole here? What on earth happened? These 3 crossbows... What? These 3 crossbows killed 17 vills! 17! There must have been a hole here or something. I don't understand. But they got through somehow. And Dark didn't expect it. Oh, man, Dark had such a nice boom. But yeah, researching the full armor on the camels, it feels kind of bad against those Genoese. But now the Genoese player has to come back to deal with this. They're still outranged by the crossbows. Was this the hole? I'm not actually seeing it. Next to the unfinished stone wall? Where, though? Please remind me to check that at the end of this game, because that's a big storyline. I still don't fully understand it. Lots of Cavalier from Vinch with the Genoese. Max actually adding a couple monks. And maybe the house goes down here in a second anyways. So Dark has to respect that. And outposts being placed around the map for Rapard is he and Rubenstock are probably thinking about dropping castles here. Wonder if he walked through the gate. We have a pause now. I'm tempted to check. Let's go back. Oh, wait a second. It still makes no sense. Oh, I see. So he walled it afterwards. Yeah. So that piece of wall was added after he realized the crossbows went through. But these crossbows were standing here forever, and then he noticed. Yeah, and then he panic walled it. Okay. Wow, so there was an opening there. That's crazy. And we are still paused. Yeah, this gap, there was a gap here. Maybe it was something else before, like a house or a palisade. But it was open when the crossbows arrived. Dark has just clicked up to Imp. Only 62 Vils, though. And hopefully this resumes here shortly. Military counts closer than it was before. Genoese crossbowman count is really low. Like, to me, it kind of feeling good for Finland, guys. Because the economy for Amalius is flying. He's got 30 farms. He's got crossbow production. Genoese crossbowmen won't play a big role. If the Genoese crossbowmen don't play a big role, the camels are here for the cavalier. The camels are going to be here for the war wagons too. They're not too bad. The team scores are actually ridiculous. It is 3,349 for Finland, 3,348 right now for Russia. Super close game. But just like fast tracking into Genoese crossbowmen, combined with the hole, I think the hole was actually the biggest thing. It's been rough. Winchester going to drop a castle here to protect the golds. Still no TC out here, for example. Always about gold control at this stage. I think Rubenstock's had a pretty solid game. He's 3 TCs, but pretty solid recovery from Rapard. The hardest position to play in this game has been Rapard's position. It's expected that he takes the losses and falls behind. The trade-off is that you have Winchester in a beastly spot. And Vinch is he's pretty much at 100 Vils right now. So, yeah, that's a really good point. Vara says, going Genoese crossbowman to go against Camel feels weird because going full archers is already good against Camel. Yeah, but I guess, like, Imp Camel is a different beast. This is not me, guys. This is the game. They have paused for some reason. Maybe Velez is on the line. He's like, I'm coming home. Let this game go to post-imp. I'll be there for game 4. Not exactly how I would expect Veleza to say it. But yeah, no Veleza today, guys. Which is surprising. I feel like Finland's chances without Veleza are pretty slim when Russia's playing this good. But if there's more holes in the wall... Also, Amalius is playing like a beast. If Amalius is playing like this, maybe it's not a replacement for Veleza. But they might still be able to get the job done. That's why they're 0-2 down. Wonder how that happened. Well, the first one was 4v4 arena. With Veleza, I could easily see Russia winning there. And then the next one was a 1v1. That was where they used a player I was surprised by. Because it was Winchester versus Molisako, so. I want to check. The admins are asking, all good, why did you pause? And the players haven't responded. So there's a DE bug where if one person, so let's say you have a team of like 3, right? And you're like, shoot, guys, I need you to pause real quick because my mouse died or something, right? And you pause. And then I plug my mouse in and say, okay, I'm good. Can we go? We ask the other team go, and then someone else unpauses. If a different person unpauses than the person who paused, it can ruin the spectating sometimes. So I'm worried right now that we're not going to be able to watch this game because the players aren't responding, which makes me think that they're in the game and we're just sitting here standing at the pause screen. So I'm hoping it's not that bug, but I'm experienced and I've reported it before. It's kind of hard to recreate, but I know it's happened enough times, so.
Yes.
Oh, we're back. Hey, thank you, DE. Okay, they had TeamSpeak issues. Okay, we're back. They're using TeamSpeak? Bro, TeamSpeak? What year is it? Okay. So they got in a different TeamSpeak server. We're so back. And we should be good. There's no Discord in Russia. Really? Is Discord banned in Russia? I didn't know it got banned in Russia. Well, that makes sense then. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, no judgment. No judgment. No judgment. I didn't know they didn't have it available. Okay. Well, war wagons pushing Rubenstock in this area. We got coinage now for Rubenstock, which makes me think sling. And we have big armies coming forward, but the Genbos are gonna get converted. Monk's also helping out with some healing. Now, Malleus has pulled his crossbows back. That was the raiding army that dealt a lot of damage here to Dark. Dark only had 70 vills, but Dark will be an imp. Max has so many camels in queue. Max has 20 camels in queue right now. Holy, 20 camels out of like 6 stables. But that's a panic move if I ever saw one. Because he could unqueue some of those camels and you could go up to imp maybe. This is a 3v1 on Max. And oh god! Rubenstock's gonna make him pay! He says, you team up on Max, I castle drop you, fool. Let's go. That's sick. So Max is dying. Ripard could have some big problems. Rubenstock is sending all the resources he can over to Max as this is happening. But they need an army here, guys. And where are the crossbows for Amalius? I thought the crossbows were going to be a big factor here. I guess he never was able to make it over there, or he's waiting for imp. Wow. Okay, so stables for Max are going down, and he's got units inside of them. So the units are going to just pop out and die right away. Well, hold on. Actually, he's got camels. He's got a lot of camels. Well, back to what we talked about earlier about the Genoese crossbow. I was kind of in agreement on how you could have just gone regular crossbow, but 11 units have 24 kills. They're just one-shotting camels right now with full upgrades. So, I mean, dude, it's not even close when the camels get close to these things. War wagons also are tanky underneath the TCs. Ripard has to run for gold, but he's going to find some. And Amalius is like, don't worry, guys. I'm an imp now. I can come save you. But Finland have lost so much. Max hasn't been able to mine gold. Max still is just like trying to pump army out. And what we haven't looked at is Dark Space or Winchester Space in so long. And Vinch is about to be an imp, guys. So, right after the pause, it's like they 3v1 Max instantly. We never saw Blue in the fight. Now he's here. But Max has taken some heavy losses. Castle here for Ripard. He's also on Rubenstock's miners here. Rubenstock needs to react. Rubenstock still gonna have an issue fighting against wagons. Rubenstock doesn't have much army. The Arbalest upgrade kicks in here for Amalius. He is the key now. But his castle gets denied! His castle gets denied! And there's a Trebon on already! Winchester's 2 minutes away from Paladin, guys. And yes, Max does have 30-some camels, but Max isn't on... Well, sorry, he just clicked up to imp. So it's going to take time for Max to get the upgrades to match that. Feels like if Vinch and Dark could just work together, they might be able to 2v1 Amalius. Rubenstock, no army right now. He's just... I guess he sent every resource he could to Max. So Max could get to imp, and so Max could get this many camels. What they've sacrificed, though, like what Finland have missed out on here is Max in imp. So that hit there forced him into a massive panic to recover an army and delayed his imp time. And now you're just going to see Vinch be patient, wait for Paladin. Malleus is the key. He needs like 50, 60 Arbalest to hold this on his own. Winchester keeping an eye on the Paladin timer. Can they take this fight? Paladin comes in. The Genoese crossbowmen are here. I'm surprised Vinch didn't just back away for a second to lure some camels into the fight. He just doesn't seem to care. But the Paladin is Paladin. The camels are dying. The Genoese crossbowmen are doing a great job. The wagons are tanking as well. And Max's army is disappearing. Amalius's base is disappearing to the Paladin raids and to the Trebuchets. Maybe this castle goes up. But I don't know, guys. I think the reverse sweep the reverse sweep dream is dead here today. Russia just too good. Too consistent. And I love how they can have these players who you guys won't know all that well perform so cleanly. Rapard had a difficult role to play in this game. He had a difficult role to play in one of the other games too. And then when they need their best players to step up, they've got them. Or, I mean, even more specifically, they have them here. Because Veleza, unfortunately, is just not here. He's not full-time AoE. And maybe a busy time for him. And I imagine he would have been here if he could have been here. So now Max makes it to the heavy camel upgrade. But he's up against imp wagons and a soon-to-be elite Genoese crossbow. It's just not going to happen. The Paladins for Winchester are going to head over to Rubenstock as he comes over to help. Paladins aren't really needed on this side to win the fight anymore. What a recovery from Dark, too. He was at like 60 bills when he imped. He's up to 140 now. Max is just dancing, hoping that keeps him alive, but at what cost? They're losing so much. Winchester will raid here. Winchester will raid here. There's Trebs now from Rapard as well. Rubenstock will lose all of his castles. Like, the dancing is maybe to buy time for Imp Camel, but Imp Camel isn't actually a unit that saves you anymore. Now, Finland's probably disappointed. Just like maybe their fans right now. They won't want to call it quits. Appreciate the fight. But I can't see a way back in this one. There's just no way. Dark is even going to forward wall here so they can't escape. I guess Rubenstock did the same over here at one point. I truly think, and many people would disagree with this statement, I truly think that even if Veleza was here, Russia would have won today. I had said Russia 3-2, assuming Veleza was here, because I think I think they have more consistent talent throughout the team, and Finland's are just a tad top-heavy these days. And they're less active than all the Russians as well. Remember, like, Brazil got they're directly in the semifinals after their performances. They reverse swept Russia. If a couple things went differently, Russia would have swept Brazil. Russia could make a deep run. They'll go to the quarterfinals now. I don't know who they're up against yet, but they might be the favorite in that series. And the GG's called. Finland's finally call it. And weren't able to get any wins today. Finland and Canada end up being the teams that crash out in the 7th and 8th position. Not what people would have expected. But maybe lineup-wise, you think, well, Veleza didn't play here today for Finland. Russia's really good. And then Hera not playing on Team Canada. That probably played some big roles for both those teams' fates. Really impressed with Winchester and how he commands his team, how the strategy looked. I love how they've been able to bring in Rapard to play a super good role. And they also have... let's not forget Antagonist. Like, Antagonist, also another player, 2K4, 2K5, who played amazing and carried them all in the arena game too. So, Russia win. Russia move on. And GG. Rapard, sick game there. Koreans looked really strong there. But I got to go back. Like, Rapard got doubled, guys. And then they ended up just being more than fine in the end. He also he almost lost 10 vills to Light Cav that broke into his base. Again, he held on, recovered, did fine. Dark lost 17 villagers to 3 crossbows, recovered, ended up being fine. It's really impressive. That's what the best players can do. We saw it with Brazil yesterday as well, right? You take some unnecessary losses and can still recover from it. That just shows you're a beast. Winchester had trade queued up and trade running already down to this market. Like, they were so far ahead. The game wasn't even close at this point. So after today's results, Canada and Finland are eliminated. They fall into the 7th and 8th place position. It will be Argentina, Vietnam as one quarterfinal. It will be China and Russia as another quarterfinal. Winner of Argentina, Vietnam move on to face France. And then winner of China, Russia move on to face Brazil. So pretty big matchups there. I would say that Argentina probably the slight favorite against Vietnam. Slight. And then I would say China is the slight favorite over Russia. That's the way I see it. If you guys disagree, though, it wouldn't be too crazy because all these teams are just really, really good at this point, right? Like Vietnam, I think they were successful today because Canada didn't really have... Canada felt like they were missing 2 players because I don't think... Like, they had to have a player leave his work to come in and play the arena game. So, yeah, they just... Canada wasn't all there. Vietnam, I think, are in a similar position with their 4th player. Like, Say My Name isn't what he used to be. Argentina, Nikov's amazing. Lucky's amazing. They have FedEx. They have Manos to toss in there. They've got Lucho. So I would say in a best of 5, I'd say like Argentina 3-1 would be my prediction, or Argentina 3-2. China, Russia is a bit closer, though. I would say maybe China 3-1 or China 3-2. So that's my thought.